Hi, I'm Rebecca from Ingvid. In this lesson, I'm going to show you 3 simple ways that you can ask a polite question in English. Okay? Now, usually when we're asking a question, we're asking if we can do something, or we're asking permission, or we're asking someone else to do something for us, in which case we are requesting that they do something. All right? And there are 3 key words that you can use for this purpose, but in different ways. So let's look at what they are. All right, so those 3 words are can, could, and may. Now, of course, you've heard those words before, and I'm sure you use them as well, but let's be really sure when to use which one. So it's very easy. We use can in more informal situations. All right, what do I mean by informal? For example, with your family or friends. All right, we use could in more semi-formal situations. Semi-formal means a little bit formal. For example, with your colleagues, people you work with, right? With your hairdresser, perhaps. With a salesperson in a store, all right? There we could use could. So we kind of know that person, or we don't know that person too well, but it's not a very formal situation. And the last is in formal situations when we use may. So what's a formal situation? Well, for example, if you're talking to a client or a customer, or you're at an interview, then you want to be on your best behavior, use your best manners, be very polite, be very formal and proper, and that's when we use may. Now, there is a little difference in terms of the grammar of how we use these 3 words. So, with can and could, we can use those 2 with all of the pronouns. So we can say, can I, can you, can we, could they, could he, could she, could it, all right? Can use those with all of the pronouns. But when we come to may, we can only use it with I or we, all right? May I do this or may we? You can't really ask permission for somebody else so much. So these are the 2 ways we use may, all right? Sometimes you might hear it with 1 or 2 other pronouns, but really these are the most common, all right? So that's what you want to be able to use, so you can always be 100% right. Now, let's look at the same question and how it's different with the 3 words, all right? So let's say I'm at home and I ask someone from my family, can I have some orange juice? All right, so there I'm using can because it's really informal. Now let's say I'm at the mall, I'm at the food court, and I'm ordering some juice. So I say, could I have some orange juice? All right, slightly more formal. And now let's pretend that we're in a fancy restaurant and I'm ordering orange juice. So then I say, may I have some orange juice? Okay. Now you could add the word please also, but with some of these, it's already very polite. So you don't have to go overboard. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to always say please, especially when you're asking for yourself, okay? If you're requesting something that someone else do, then often we do add the please as well, okay? Now, what are some of the responses? We're not really focusing on the responses in this lesson, but let me just tell you what would be the appropriate responses, positive responses and negative responses to these questions. So if someone said, can I have some orange juice? Informal. The answer might be, sure, here you go. Or, could I have some orange juice? Yes, of course. May I have some orange juice? Certainly. Okay? So you see that the formality of the question matches the formality of the answer. If it was negative, can I? Sorry, we're all out. Could I? I'm sorry, we're all out. May I? I'm afraid we're all out. Okay? Same basic information, but represented quite differently. So now let's look at some more examples. All right. So informally, we could say, can I help you wash the dishes? That would be a really nice thing to say to someone. Okay. All right. Or, can you clear the table, please? Now you see here, because I'm requesting something of someone else, it's perfectly nice and fine to say please at the end, okay? Can you clear the table, please? What does that mean, clear the table? After you finish eating, there are a lot of dishes on the table, and when you take those dishes to the kitchen or wherever, and you clear the table. That's called clearing the table. All right. Next, in a semi-formal situation where we're using could, we could say, could I get your email address? Or could you send me the report, please? All right, that's again some business examples, very common questions that we need to ask people. All right.